welcome to this course. Today we are going to talk about how to display or lay out your iOS application without using any sort of storyboard. This was a really popular kind of idea or technique that many developers use in iOS, where they would not use storyboard and prefer to use code. The reason why I want to use it specifically is because I find it's easier to control over and specify exactly what you want to have happen. Storyboard is similar, but it can get finicky. I mean, in my opinion, if you learn how to code it out, it's actually a lot easier to understand storyboard. Regardless, today we're going to be learning how to do that with a really simple application. I'm just going to teach you a little bit of the basics of creating something with that you would create with storyboard. Very simply, but using code. And after you learn that, I think you can just continue on from there and build out more applications from there. So to get started, I already have xCode open as a single view application. You want to create a single view application. It doesn't really matter what you want to do. It's up to you. Here I'm going to call it a Skillshare. Today we are going to do some simple stuff. So we're going to do some labels and buttons. We're going to have some labels. We can add a button. Let's have some stack view as well, just for fun as well. Just if you needed it. We can call it Skillshare label button stack view. Usually this is not the way you want to do it, but it's just for the sake of showing. I'm not going to be using core data or any sort of testing here. We're going to start with Storyboard, your user interface, but obviously we're not. So we're going to start there, and we're going to save this in desktop. You continue there. Okay, so for like the first step that we want to do immediately is you can do this if you want. It's up to you. I'm only running in portraits, and also for the iPhone, so you could do. This is what I usually do when I start a project. Anyway, so what we want to do first is, instead of info plist, we want to do this, remove storyboard completely. So in here, you go to main storyboard file name base, remove main. And then under application scene manifest, you go down here, scene configuration, application session role, item 0, blah, 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 storyboard name, just remove that completely. We want to also delete storyboard completely, move to trash. And instead of target the profile, here it says main interface, remove all of that. And then we're going to go to app delegate. So with Swift, some changes in xCode 11 with a Swift UI, we now have different kind of things we have to deal with. Just to get started, actually, I'm going to keep this at iOS 10. Yeah. So we can actually remove scene delegate here because it's only available in iOS 13 or whatnot. So we can remove all of this. So what we're going to do is, let's do this. So let window, you go to UI application. Okay, so from here we want to also set the view controller. So we're going to do for now is the initial view controller equals to view controller. This is initialized here inside of view controller.swift. Whoops, wrong one. View controller.swift. It's called view controller. And then we want to do window.root view controller equals to the view controller, and we want to do window dot make key invisible. So what this does is basically it tells us to show the window. Here we're telling to give it the size, and we're telling the view controller is the view controller of this. And I also went ahead and added a print statement here, print view controller loaded. So now we're just going to run this application and make sure that this actually works. Awesome. So as you can tell, we have a black screen here, but in the print statement we have print view controller loaded, which means that we actually initialize at the view controller.swift file. So this is part one, just setting up your application and removing storyboard completely. In the next video, we're going to be installing some CocoaPods to get this thing working.